Okay, well, everything tested out pretty good. I still have a braking issue. Um, this has 2003 front brake calipers and 95 Mustang rear brakes with the backing plates and the axle and the brake line that runs across the rear end. So it's a direct bolt into this car. So I'm still running the original factory master cylinder, which is the 89. Now, I purchased the 93 Cobra master cylinder and the line, or actually this is probably, since it's a 2-port, is the 94 95. This is the one you could get, which has the bigger bore, which will work a whole lot better with the upgraded brakes that I'm pushing. You're actually pushing more fluid with a disc brake than you do with a drum because it's a larger cylinder that has to move. So I bought this kit. I found this online. All right. Basically, it takes the 2-port and makes it into a 3-port. So this will wire in, and this goes down to the factory distribution block, and then the other line that comes in from the bottom for the front will actually feed off of here instead of the bottom. So instead of it being a 3-port master cylinder, it's a 2-port. All right. So basically, this goes through. It tells you a couple different ways you can do stuff here. You know, it's going to have to get done eventually, but I need to get it test fit, and I figured I would do this install on this right here. These brakes, when I first did them, the pedal was really hard. It didn't do nothing. Now, I don't know what happened. I'm getting, my front brakes are actually locking up because I did install new. We did brand new calipers, and everything seems to bleed out right, but they don't spin. So they're locked up, all right? Which just makes it tougher to move the car. So I'm going to get all the lines broke loose, and then I'm going to get the master cylinder unbolted out of there for replacement. I got the bolts off, and it just didn't want to separate from the booster. Well, this thing was having a problem disengaging the brakes, I would say probably around 5 years ago. So it was always a problem that I wanted to look into, but this car just wasn't, you know what I mean? I just pushed it off to the side. So now, basically, like I said, I purchased the upgraded brake cylinder and the conversion to go from a 3-port, which you can see we have 3 ports on this one, to the 2-port. So finding out what we had here is a lot of corrosion down inside the brake booster itself, okay, which was causing the master cylinder not to release. Okay, so needless to say, we now have a new brake booster ordered. So basically, with that being said, I mean, I do talk a lot. You know, here we go. See if I don't have a small screwdriver. Let me get a screwdriver. You can see we were full of corrosion down in there. This thing did not want to separate from here at all. I'm just trying to keep from dripping too much fluid all over the place. Yeah, man, that is just, you can see where I had screwdrivers down in here. I was trying to keep from damaging this. I didn't know if it was stuck on the threaded part or what, but this one actually does have the adjustment here that it does mention in our instructions on installing this. I did find out that LMR does sell that whole thing as a kit with the 93 master cylinder and the booster all at one shot. It probably would have been cheaper for me to buy it that way. This stuff I got from a seller on eBay probably a year and a half ago. I think it was back in 2019 possibly, or 2018, which was when I had actually ordered this. I'd probably have to go in and check. We got the parts in for the Mustang. Says 5.0 Resto on here, but this stuff came from LMR. Not sure what that is. This is listed as a 93 Cobra booster. So I did unbox it, checked it out just to double check. It's actually pretty nice. Everything's coated really nicely. It does have the adjustable end on it here. And push rod must be adjusted before installation. And then I guess it gives you a little thing I guess you can take a picture of. Refer to proper adjustment procedure. Grab some tools, get some stuff together, get the flashlight set up. I'll show you what we gotta do. All right, so you can see up into here. Here's one. Man, that's really bad. I'm blocking the light. There's one of the bolts there on the stud. You can see it. And then it's a little clip, like an R pin, holding the brake switch. And I think it's a through cable from here, right? Hold on. There we go. Yep. Pull this little R clip out. They did include it's like all the nuts to fasten these look like the master cylinder. These are all new nuts to attach the booster. They give you a new plastic clip, which is usually missing, that goes up in between here on this plug. Normally I remember pulling the column out to do these. So there's a little black piece down in there, and then the plastic piece, and then here's our 4 nuts that actually hold the booster in, and then our little R clip that goes over it. The rod actually is on the pedal assembly. I couldn't remember. Slides off, and then there's 4 bolts, the 4 nuts off the studs that go around. I just used a 14 mil quarter drive, and then the 1 bolt that's up in the top on this left side, I just used a ratchet wrench. I remember using that before, so I'm kind of going off of memory, because I did actually have this out. I mean, I've had the dash out of this car. The only good thing about going back in and working on something that you worked on, man, let's just say 15 years ago, it's like, what was I thinking? What is this wire for? You know, what was I doing in here? What's going on here? Stuff like that I'm seeing that I'm gonna have to go back over and clean up. I mean, it's just everything just looks so much older. Like, I remember that being pretty white. You know, we got tape just deteriorating off of wiring here. So I mean, it's I wish I could just open a book and just order all new wiring for the entire car. I don't know if I can, or if that stuff's available, but I think right now I'm at the point where we can go out here and we can pull this booster out and see what happens. Probably what I do sometimes is, to get these to pop, is I'll put that rod back on. I actually push on the pedal, and it'll actually move this thing out a little bit. So I'm gonna see if I can get that. I tried the push thing. That would probably work if I still had the master cylinder. It would actually break the seal. That's down in here. This thing should have a rubber seal on it. All right, this stuff is really tight down in here. Now they turn this way, there's actually a notch on these shock towers on these cars. But man, you can see that thing was leaking for some time. Look at how deteriorated this older stuff gets. Alright. Not too bad. No, like I said, this thing, brake fluid leaked on this. I'm going to be tearing everything apart and redoing it, but we don't have any rust down here around this. There's no rust in that rail. So I have everything cleaned up down here. And I know that this is an upgrade. So if you take a look at these two sitting on the floor side by side, you can notice an extreme size difference in, what would you say, the roundness, girth. And it looks like it's actually, the depth is not a little shorter here. I took a piece of cardboard and measured it out, and then I drew the line. I just wanted to see how far off these holes were. I measured them. They're like within an 1/8. I did a little bit of research. LMR actually has a really nice install video. I wish they would go more into depth as far as this. To include a template to cut this or to open these holes up a little bit would be a whole lot nicer. They just show somebody in there grinding. They don't even show what the finished product looks like or anything. They were actually installing it into a 93 hatchback. They also recommend that you might have to clearance this shock tower right here to get this to fit in. That's something that I'm not thrilled to do. Okay. I don't think it's gonna fit with a GT40 intake and an older style Maximum Motorsports strut tower thing. And I'm not really into removing the intake as of yet. So, yeah, this is not gonna be too enjoyable. You know, they only mentioned grinding some holes and clearancing this, and the guy just kind of like put it right down in. So if you get a chance, you really need to watch that LMR install video for this. I just kind of assumed that being as it was what they offered, it was kind of like a direct bolt in, but I should have researched it a little bit more because I was like, damn, I need this. And if you watch the beginning of the video, you've seen it, all the gunk down in here. And this was just supposed to be something really simple just to make the brakes work so that I could move this car around till it was time to pull the engine. So I might just end this here and just call it a fail until we pull the engine. All right, so I did put some footage in that shows me trying to install this prior to having any of this stuff pulled out. Okay, so this is the upgraded booster that they offer once again, and we're trying to get it to fit. Okay, so I'm going to try to owe this hole down here. I have this hammer. I did do some tapping, so I'm going to break out a Sharpie here because we're actually getting ready to paint this engine bay. So we want to have everything finished. All right, so we have right here, okay, let's just come to about there. So I'm just going to massage that just a little bit. This hammer does seem to be moving it just a little bit. You know, I'm not using anything heavy. So let's pop this thing out of here. All right, so it is going in just a little bit further. Let's check that out. All right, so you can see, looks like here. All right, upgraded brake booster installed. Let's see if it'll, yep. Comes right in and out. That right there might be a problem. I'll have to let's grab the master cylinder, just set it on. It might have to be something where before I bolt it in, I'll have to slide it on and then stick it down over. I do have the new brake lines, so I might even have to install them because they'll wrap down underneath and come out around. Everything is going to be upgraded, so I'm just hopefully this is the only thing that really needs any kind of massaging. Now, I am in no way a fan of, hey, you need a hammer for that to make that fit. So we used this to a certain point. Now there was a crease, a corner right down here, because this was our first one, this was our second one. Here's where we were at that I didn't show you. Okay, now I got that in a little bit, but there was that fold here that was actually pretty hard here. I actually had to use the ball peen I got it some with this end and then trying to get it with that end. Now I'm probably going to try to drop my hammers, and I'll probably try to smooth this out a little bit right here before I sand it down for paint. And with any hopes it's not terrible looking. Now, I mean, nobody's going to see that. It's going to be for my benefit. But I'm going to grab this master cylinder and see how it's going to fit. Alrighty. Just try to get some little bit of view here. Some looks, you know. Let's backhand. Everything looks good. Alright, so not exactly a direct fit, but if you have this out a little bit, you can slide this on and off very easily. Alright, so that's test fit, and the brakes are installed. And like I said, let's take a look down here. You can see right here we knocked off a little bit of paint, which we'll grind that down before we get all this painted white. We will be removing this, but this is what we're here for. So I'm going to try to, like I said, smooth this out just a little bit. Try to make it not look so bumpy. And like I said, no one's going to see that, but it's more for my benefit. But I'm definitely not a fan of this. Hopefully it really helps to power my brake upgrade, because ever since I did the brakes on this, they always sucked. And not only that, we're upgrading our master cylinder. All right, so we have the 2 to the 3 to install, along with the bigger booster, which is going to give us more brake assist and better pedal feel. So this is going to be a win-win for this car, and it's going to stop like it should. So yeah. Well, that'll conclude that video. I'll show you these part numbers here real quick, see if it's on the box. Get stuff set to the side. I don't know if I showed this in the first one. Right here's the part number for that. That's when I got it. Some 5.0 Resto. They come with bolts and a little tag that says about adjusting the nut on the end. LMR sells this as a kit, but I didn't get all of it from them. Here is the number for Dorman Master. I purchased this here separately. 3 to 2 port adapter. This was from a seller. This was from a seller on eBay. That door just blows shut. So that's it. All right. Finishes up the brakes. We know we're going to work now. We can get everything sanded down and ready for paint.